Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Track Talk, your connection coast to coast and beyond in all the latest news, developments, stake race analysis, and interviews inside the world of thoroughbred horse racing. From California to New York, Florida, and Kentucky, we have you covered. It's post time, live from San Diego. It's Track Talk.
And we welcome you from a warm and beautiful San Diego, California. Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard. This is Track Talk. We are the WS Radio Network studios in America's finest city, San Diego, California. Across the country, throughout the world, we spread our love, our harmony, and our hope as tough times prevail. But on this Saturday, we're going to make you feel good about the next hour, and we welcome you no matter where you are. If you're a first-time listener or a long-time listener, we've been doing this production for a long time, and today is a very, very special day for many, many reasons. So we're going to bring some joy and happiness within the content of this radio program. This is Track Talk live from San Diego. I'm Felix Taverna. Tommy D will be joining us. Larry Zapp, Toby Terrell. We got a very special guest from Gulfstream Park, Gabriela Sanchez, who will tell us exactly what's going on down in South Florida. It's the 69th running of the $750,000 Grade 1 Florida Derby. Now, the Florida Derby has so much history written into it that it is definitely without question a springboard into the Kentucky Derby, which would be run on the first Saturday in May. But since the coronavirus and all the cancellations and what have you, that has been put back to September 5th, the Kentucky Derby. So now we have the first Saturday in May. But just not shy away from anything that's going on right now, because as a quarterback like a Tom Brady would call an audible, racing has called their audible. But today is a very, very monumental race down in South Florida at Gulfstream Park. It's 1 1/8 miles, $750,000 purse. There's a lot of talent and great, great equines that are going to be a part of this great card. Not only is the Florida Derby a big race, but this card at Gulfstream Park is off the charts. It's monumental. It is what we, as lovers of this game of thoroughbred horse racing, the enthusiasts, the players, the lay people who just love horses, it's what it's all about today. Let's go out to Tommy D on a Saturday morning, and we are social distancing ourselves here after working with him for 4.5, 5 years in the studio. Well, he's working from his home on this Saturday morning. Tommy D, at top of the morning.
Yeah, good morning, Felix. Good morning, everybody. As you said, here at home, closer to the beach with the family at home, but we still got some horse racing going on with all the bad news and media out there. So the Florida Derby will give us some hope, and also it will be on NBC Sports today, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock Eastern time, so that'd be 1 o'clock our time. So if you don't have TVG, you could actually catch it on NBC Sports because they're looking for stuff to put on. But what a great card. And there's also a mandatory pick six payout that could actually pay pretty nice, Felix. So that's a couple things to look forward to today on this big day.
You know, when you look at this day, this is the showcase day. This is a signature race at Gulfstream Park. Let's go down to Gulfstream Park and just check in with Gabriela Sanchez, a longtime friend and a lady who knows her way around the oval, and she's joining us here. She's probably trying to get a mount. She would like to ride in the Florida Derby because that's how much she loves horses. Gabby, at top of the morning, how are you, my friend?
You know what? Top of the morning. Good afternoon here from Southern Florida. Thank you so much for having me. I want to say hello to all the listeners and anyone that's, everyone actually that's tuning in to listen or to watch. Anything having to do with sports or horse racing, just to keep us entertained and something positive for this afternoon.
So what's been the temperature down there at South Florida? Like, cancellations have become one a day, two a day from different tracks for different reasons. And Santa Anita was the latest victim, just a half hour or an hour prior to their race card yesterday. The powers that be canceled Santa Anita. And so, Santa Anita is owned by the same group, First Bet, that is owned by Gulfstream. And, I would think, and we talked earlier in the week, you and I, we talked about how important it was for them to get this race run because it means a lot for everybody at South Florida. So it is a go today, and thank God that it is a go today, and we'll just take day by day, win the day. But what's been the temperature back there in Hallandale, Florida, in regard to what's happening in the world and the horse racing? Let's be frank; it's only a small part of what our lives are really all about. So, it's something that we love, something that a lot of us make our livelihood from. We're invest in it. We're owners, we're trainers, we're jockeys, we're fans, we're agents. It runs its entire route. What's been the vibe down there? And I know that you haven't been able to get on track, like most people aren't able to get on track. They were running races without fans there. So with your inner circle, what's been the vibe? And I know you're in the know back there, so share with us in regard.
Well, thank you. You know what? Let me just, on the temperature, it has been beautiful. The cloudy days, temperatures in the low 80s, mid 80s. Kind of really get your eyes and your mind off everything going on in the world. Thank God we have nice weather, so you're not cooped up inside. Besides the weather, atmosphere here. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. The atmosphere here has been just a little just down and low, downplayed. People really aren't saying much. People are just focusing on their work, just taking it a day at a time, hoping that racing does not stop. We've had issues all week talking back and forth between, the city of Hallandale wanting to close down Gulfstream fighting tooth and nail to make sure we at least got the Derby in. The chances of Gulfstream canceling races after the Derby, I would say, in my opinion, it would be a good 90%. I'll kind of throw that 10%, because why not? Gambling, you got to have some kind of odds. But most likely, I think after the Derby, after the races today, I think Gulfstream is going to join Santa Anita and a lot of other tracks that are going to shut down. As for Santa Anita, it was a shocker. We were surprised. We'd been watching TVG, and they made comments about possibly closing it, but there is no positive or anybody that tested positive for the virus. So they were really trying to, work hard on keeping Santa Anita open. So whenever, we got news that they just shut it down before the first race, it was, kind of shocking, because it kind of sets the tone, and everyone's kind of on this ledge. You don't like sitting on the fence, I guess you could put it. You don't know when it's going to stop racing or what's going to happen with the employees, the horses, the owners. It's just, this opens a whole new Pandora's box that none of us have ever experienced this in our lifetime, where every sport is just shut down. And other sports, football, baseball, basketball, they have their money, they have their contract. Horse racing's different. Here it's a day by day. The grooms, the hot walkers, they need the work to make the money. In order for them to make the money, the horses have to run. And so it trickles down. The horses can run. It not only affects the owners, trainers, but everyone else that has a living. People that just sell the tickets, the popcorn, the sodas, cleaning the facility. All these people are affected by this, it closing down. So it is like an eerie vibe. It's very quiet. I made it to the track a couple of times, kind of still quarantined in the truck, didn't get out. But just the vibe at the race, it's eerie, no fans. And, speaking of that, this, along with other races, this is the first time the Florida Derby, along with the Kentucky Derby, will be run without any fans, any spectators, any media. So I'm sure it's going to be a wake-up call, something surreal for the jockeys and everyone that's just going to be on the track looking at this empty grandstand when normally it is packed full of people, beautiful women in their outfits, the hats, and, so it is going to be like a surreal event here, I would put it, but the people there are going to be able to experience it and know what it feels like.
It's going to be everything that you said is so well taken, and we believe and endorse 150%. But I'm going to tell you, as we sit here from the WS Radio studios in a beautiful Southern California, showering you with all love and affection and hope, and thanking you for being a part of our family here with Track Talk. Tommy D, this is going to be let me say it again, this is going to be one terrific Florida Derby this afternoon.
Yeah, I really am looking forward to it. We got a nice little field, the whole 6 races, a lot of stakes racing. Not much other sports going on, so we're getting other people to maybe tune in. Like I said, be broadcasted on NBC Sports today. Luis Saez yesterday winning 5 races. Pay attention to him. He is red hot there, down there at Gulfstream. And then Fletcher also got 2 wins yesterday, but just unbelievable. Looking forward to a great day, especially with all the unfortunate stuff going on in the world with the virus. We just got to, be real and take it serious and be smart and stay together here. Hearing people say Corona kindness, that's all we could do at this time. So just look out for each other, Felix. But horse racing is going to be great today, and it's going to definitely be a positive moment for a lot of people, around the country.
Yeah, well, the casinos are closed. The casinos are closed. The OTBs are closed. The tracks are closed. The restaurants are closed. The bars are closed. Churches are closed. Schools are closed. We have to, just look up and thank our lucky stars that we're still here today, and that this will bring us some joy. I'm looking forward to this 14 race card at Gulfstream Park. I'm looking forward to the Florida Derby. This is a very, very solid race. It's going to be a great race without any question. Let's break it down. Let's handicap it, Tommy D. What do you think in regard to how this pace sets up here? There's a lot of speed, a lot of great equine. It's going to be a race that is won by smart riding. What do you think, Tommy D?
Yeah, this is a great field that we're looking at. And, a lot of people are looking at the 7 horse in the field. That's Tis the Law. This horse won 3 out of its 4 starts, finished 3rd, and only lost a grade 2 there, the KYJC grade 2 at Churchill. But won here nicely in the Holy Bowl by 3+ lengths as the favorite, beating a couple other in the field. So this is the horse to beat here. This horse last time set right off the pace. This would definitely be one to watch. Independence Hall, this is the 9 horse. This horse came out of the Sam F. Davis grade 3. That's at Tampa Bay, where it was favorite, and it finished 2nd. We talked with the connections on the show from Eclipse Thoroughbred, and with high hopes. This horse came into the race undefeated. Finished 2nd last time after having some problems there. Sol Valente looks to be a real contender. So this horse, 9 Independence Hall, I can see very well coming back today with a much better race and can win this race. This horse, Independence Hall, looks to be sitting right up front or right off the pace. And then number 5 is a horse that I like, Governor Morris. This is a Todd Pletcher horse. Johnny V will be riding. This horse won last time against a little bit weaker, but it's got a 2nd 2-back against Maxfield at Keeneland. Constitution's the sire here. He got 8-1. This might be a little bit of a reach here. We did have a few scratches in the race here, including the 3 horse Disc Jockey, the 4 Soros, 6 Ajaweed, and number 11 Sassy But Smart. So that means Rogue Element, the 13 horse, will be getting in at 50-1. So I believe that's pretty much the horses I think they have contenders. Maybe that 12 Ete Indian. This horse should be right up front out of the gate. This horse likes to be up front. and has won 3 out of 5 starts, earning $333,000 in its career. The big thing is it won the Fountain and the Youth at Gulfstream by 8.5. So that's something to look at. But 'Tis the Law, if you go 2 back, did beat this horse in the Holy Bull. But this field is nice and open, Felix. I really like the chances of a couple different horses. 'Tis the Law is the horse to beat here. But in my eyes, I think there's a couple other that can win this race today.
Oh, without question, this is a wide open race, 1 1/8 miles. 3-year-olds, remember, they're colts. You know, they're just getting the feel of the game, and this is March, and they were all sort of prepped to get to the first Saturday in May from the connections that they were running under, and they were being conditioned by. Or in this race, I'll tell you what, Gabby. Let me ask you this: Gabriela Sanchez joining us live from Gulfstream Park. Now, you hear from you know the jockeys, you know the trainers, you know the agents. What would you say? How is that track going to play today? Will it play fast?
You know what? We have not had any type of moisture, any rain, anything to kind of really change the track condition. I really think it's just going to be a fast track. Good for speed. That's just how I see it. Weather's been good. It hasn't been too hot. Hasn't been too cold. Not a lot of moisture. Very little humidity. I mean, you couldn't even tell that you were in South Florida the way the weather's been this past week.
Windy?
Just a little breeze. Not too bad. I wouldn't say anything over 15 miles an hour. If anything, I think the most would be 10-mile-an-hour wind, which would be the most. But it's just a slight breeze, which is good. Good for the horses. Give them a little breeze to cool off. Jockeys too.
I know this is.
At least they'll have.
I know this is what you've been waiting for. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to get to the point. We got through the weather report. We need to get as much as we can of you real quick, all right? So excuse me if I...
That works.
Who do you like in this race? I know that you handicap this race, and that's what you do. You're very good at it. You told me earlier in the week that it was down to 4. Is it still at 4?
Yes, it is still down to 4. I agree. 'Tis the Law is one of the favorite ones, This horse distinguished himself as a top-level juvenile. He gave a really great smashing 2020 debut, 1 this year. Lifetime starts 4, hit the board 100% in the money. To me, the most impressive win was in the Champagne Stakes for this horse because he left the post parade early, stumbled at the start. He dropped back, 5th, but managed to work his way through out of all that mess. Found a good opening and took it for a clear win. So to me, despite the obstacles, he overcame, going from breaking out first to falling back 5th and then just working his way up winning. So to me, I think he's got a lot of opportunity to win depending how the race plays out. If something were to happen, I believe this horse actually has the ability to overcome those obstacles. So I put that one as one of my top ones, followed by the number 9, Independence Hall. And, of course, we did mention it. And so, you know what? Bloodline, you kind of have to pay attention because, in 2014, the father, Constitution, won the Florida Derby, and his grandfather in 1998, Cape Town, won the Florida Derby. So, you know what? You never know. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So the only thing that's kind of got me a little air is the jockey change. Unfortunately, Ortiz could not be able to come and ride the horse. So they ended up picking Rosario for the mount on this one.
Why does that bother you? Now, let me tell you, you made a great point. Ortiz is in New York, so anybody who traveled from New York to Florida, Jockey, J.L. Ortiz. Irad Ortiz, or was it Jose Ortiz or Irad? It was J.L.
Jose, yeah.
Okay, so
I think it's just anyone that comes down from Florida, period, or from New York, to Florida has to be quarantined 14 days. Not so much just a jockey, trainer, just any person from the New York area because their rate of the coronavirus is way up there. So anyone wanting to come visit has to be quarantined automatically 14 days. And so that's something Ortiz was not able to do.
And he wasn't able to work the horse either because they had works, and this is exactly what happened. So Rosario broke Independence Hall's maiden at Parks the first time out. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. And so that's the good part is that Rosario is familiar with the horse. So it's not something that's just like completely, out there. He's had, a feel for the horse, which is good. It makes me feel more confident on jockey changes. I'm not really big on a new rider on a horse. I really like the horse and the jockey getting to know each other, and they work great as a team. But in this case, I'm a great fan of Rosario. He's had experience on Independence Hall. So I'm going to bypass the fact that Ortiz isn't going to be riding the horse. He finished he was a runner-up in the Sam F. Davis in Tampa this past February. I was impressed seeing him kind of going to chase dual speed in the race. He kept fighting into the stretch, and it just showed to me heart and determination. That following a race in Aqueduct where he actually wins the Jerome Stakes, and I was actually impressed because not only did Independence Hall overcome a bad start, he never fell back, kept the pace, momentum going, and he finished strong. So, with all those factors, I really kind of put this Independence Hall number 9 as being a horse that might actually give Tiz the Law a run for the money.
I don't think you have to go. I don't think you have to go any further. I think you're right on the winner right there. He lost his shoe. In the Sam F. Davis, he lost his right front shoe. He ran the whole entire race on 3 shoes. He had some trouble with his lip or his palate, whatever the case. I can't remember what Aaron Wellman. We had Aaron Wellman as well as Bob Barate on the radio program leading up to this, day. And so he's a handful. Tommy D, when I look at this race, people keep on shoving the Fountain of Youth winner, Ete Indian, or Indian Ete Indian, but Patrick Biancone, in the Fountain of Youth, he destroyed that field. So I want to go back to Gabby real quick. Okay, so you're using Tiz the Law, you're using Independence Hall. Who are the other two, Gab?
Okay, so my next 2 is E.T. Indian, Biancone. Of course, you just mentioned the winner of the Fountain of Youth. But, he won it in a dominating fashion from an outside post, which is the same position that he's going to be having in the Florida Derby. So this horse isn't that, kind of unfamiliar with the outside post. Of course, being ridden by Florian, amazing rider there himself. He's been on them, knows how to work them. He's 2 for 3 since switching to dirt. If he's able to catch a perfect start breaking from the 12 post, he has a shot. But the only thing I'm kind of worried about is the wide trip while pushing speed. Will he be able to overcome the adversities that the race might play out? And so, therefore, I kind of put this one in the 3rd position with some of those factors. And then just following it up by Governor Morris. I kind of was iffy on where to place Governor Morris because I was very impressed with the numbers, with the way he's ran. He finished gamely in 2nd in the Breeders' Fraternity. That's after winning his debut in Saratoga by 9 lengths. He took time off, returned winning an allowance optional claiming of 1 mile and 40 yards at Tampa Bay Downs this past February. So you know what? He shows potential. He shows that heart, determination. He's had some really sharp workouts over at Palm Beach Downs this past week at 5 furlongs, going about, I think, 1 minute and 2/5 on the 15th of this month. Now, this gray coat has tactical speed and is comfortable behind the pace setters and leaders, which is good because it will allow Vasquez, Johnny V, to actually position him in a good spot and then let the race play out, and then hopefully he can make something happen with Governor Morris, and he might be the upsetter of the race and win it.
Well, let's hope not. For all the people that the Constitution part, we're sort of true to our constitutions, but I'd like to see the other Constitution win, and that is Independence Hall. And I know the owners and the group, Robert and Kathleen Verratti, Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners with Aaron Wellman, who has been supportive in keeping us moving forward with this Track Talk radio show on the road to the Kentucky Derby. And I just think that Independence Hall is going to show his real deal today. I think he's an athlete. I think he's geared to run a very, very strong race. And I was quite concerned after he lost his shoe in the Sam F. Davis how he was going to come out of that. Was there a foot injury? No injury. He had a great work this week down at Gulfstream Park. And so it's a horse race. There's going to be a lot of speed in this race, and I think it's going to be who gets the trip. Without question, Tommy D, we talk about getting the trip. As you see the pace makes the race, Tommy D, how do you see the speed scenario?
Yeah, as you say, Felix, it's not always the best horse wins the race in horse racing, as we know that. Unfortunately, it's all about getting a good trip and getting a good spot. Independence Hall, I think, does have a very nice shot today. We have been talking about this horse for a while, winning his first 3 races quite nicely, Parks, Aqueduct, and then last time second in the Sam F. Davis. But as you said, Constitution, great sire, but they're 3-year-old colts, so anything could happen here. But I like Independence Hall's opportunity to sit right off the pace here. Tis the Law also is a horse that is going to be sitting right off the leaders here. I expect the Twirling Candy Tycoon to be up front with that's the 10-horse Todd Pletcher's horse with the 12 Ete Indian. I expect both of those to show early speed out of the gate. So I do see some speed in this race. Definitely, the one horse has a good opportunity to be right up front with those horses also. Chivalry has early speed, so there is a lot of front speed in this race. So sitting right off the pace might be the spot where you want to be if this race unfoils, Felix. I think Independence Hall would be my top choice if I had to give you one. Tis the Law is very impressive, 3-year-old, and then number 5, Governor Morris. I think Todd Pletcher will have this colt ready to fire today. So it's going to be a good race. A couple scratches kind of made it a little bit tighter there. But, we'll find out what horse wins it today. Florida Derby, big race. Excited to see the outcome, Felix.
Yeah, Tommy D. Tommy D, how many's going to post here? And excuse my ignorance, but do you have real-time odds as far as who is the favorite in the race right now? I mean, I know that you're working your iPad and your boards and your computers and what have you. Do you have any real-time odds at the present time?
I could probably pop it up real quick here. There's 9 going to post, if I'm correct here. There was a few scratches there. Let me just pop this up. But I can get you the real odds.
I want to talk with Gabby while you pop that up, Tommy D. I appreciate it. I want to talk with Gabby. Gabby, who's getting all the money down there in regards to the odds?
You know what? I am not going to answer a question I do not know the answer to. So on that one, I am not aware of that, sweetheart.
All right.
Maybe
you should run. You should run for a political office down there. I think that was really great. I mean, I would vote for you for just saying that. I'm not going to say something if I don't know the answer to it.
I don't know.
I would think that the 3 horses, the 3 colts that will get the majority of the action would be Tis the Law, Ete Indian, and Independence Hall. I think
Independence Hall.
I think that I think the public will make Tis the Law the favorite. Ete Indian, the second choice, and I think Independence Hall would be at number 3. A mile and an eighth.
I agree.
You agree?
I agree, because that's actually, that's how at first, when I started going through my list, I had them listed like that. And then once I started looking more into it, more in depth, certain things started popping out, and I started moving my selections where Independence Hall went from 3rd to, moving up positions. And I switched it around a bit. I am I'm torn between Tis Law and Independence Hall. You know, Tis the Law, it's a given. You know, it's one of those that's obvious, but most of the time, is the obvious horse doesn't win. It almost seems to me it's the way the race plays out and the difficulties and adversities that the horse and jockey can overcome that would determine whoever, you know, the winner of the race. So based on that, you know, Independence Hall, like he said, lost his shoe. He already had other issues, you know, overcoming a bad start, falling back, was able to keep the pace, momentum. And to me, all this just tells me he could overcome this, he could overcome that. Something happens. So he actually starts moving up on my selection, and to the point where I think if anyone's going to beat Tis the Law, it'll be Independence Hall.
I agree. I agree everything you said. Gabby, you stay cuddly down there in South Florida now, and, you know, since we can't get you to the Florida Derby, we'll get you out here to Del Mar if the good Lord's willing, and we could hang out during the summertime where the turf meets the surf. You have a great Saturday. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hugs and kisses, blessings. Stay safe. And you know what? Let's enjoy this day of wonderful horse racing here at Gulfstream. And I hope everyone out there enjoying their Saturday afternoon, is able to watch the races and hopefully make some money and have a good time.
That's Gabriela. We love her. Gabriela Sanchez, ladies and gentlemen, from the great city of Hallandale, Florida, and the Gulfstream Park. Gulfstream Park Oval, where the 69th running of the Florida Derby for 3-year-olds, going 1 1/8 miles. And good luck to all the connections that are running in the race, but even more luck to Mike Trombetta Jr. and Sarah Schaefer, who've been with this colt, Independence Hall. He's owned, like we said, the radio family, great people that deserve to win this race today. They've managed this horse. Aaron Wellman at Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners has really did his due diligence and really jumped through hoops. I don't know if you know the story about after Independence Hall won and broke his maiden Parks, they were looking for a race for him. And so they found one down in Laurel, and that's in Maryland. So they ship him to Maryland. They van him, I would say, not ship him, but, you know, that's what they say in horse racing, ship. I don't think he was a ship. He was just a van ride from Philadelphia down to Laurel in Maryland. So they finally get there, day of the race. He's ready to run, and a pipe breaks and floods the track at Laurel. So, obviously, he can't run, and they have to call an audible. So they find this race in New York called the Nashua, and he gets dispatched at 9 or 10 to 1 that day, and he just destroys the field. Well, he comes right back into Jerome, and he wins that after being a handful. See, I've watched this colt because of my friends and because of the connections, and I've really grown to love Independence Hall because I see a lot of things. And what I see in him is that he reminds me a lot of Franco Harris, the 4-time Super Bowl champion of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He just runs with that strength and power. We got Zapper on? Not yet. All right. Tommy D, so you're handicapping the whole Gulfstream Park card, 14 races. So with it being, like you said, the only sport, it's a pretty good deal to sit back today. And Tommy D, what races is going to be the Rainbow Pick 6? Is that the final 6 races?
It's race 9 it starts in, I believe.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's exactly right. 9 through 14. So how's your wife Erica, Tommy D, and your son Luca? How you guys been doing?
Everybody's doing good, just hunkering down, a lot of family time, a lot of playing with trucks and ball games, and you name it. It's going on scooter rides with my son Luca, so just really taking in the family time. Erica's pregnant, and so she's the baby's going to come at the end of April is the due date. So we're in crunch time right now. Any time is go time. So just kind of taking in the moments with Luca and just trying to spend this quality family time and listen to what everybody's saying with the isolation, kind of staying away and, making sure to be smart until we could kick this, And horse racing today is going to be great because it gives you something to watch. And, it does start in race 9. You got 6 solid races. There is some scratches, including a big one in race 9, a newspaper record. Was a scratch there, Jakarta, and a couple others. But it looks like a great card overall, but just kind of hanging in there, Felix. Just excited to see some horse racing today and still going on.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. I mean, in a lot of ways, unfortunate in others, with Santa Anita being canceled yesterday, now just an hour before. But you talk about family, and that's important. I want to go back to your wife, Erica, who is pregnant, as you mentioned, getting ready to deliver your second child. Only the healthiest and the most blessings to her, as well as to you and to your beautiful little boy, my man, Luca. These are tough times, but family gets us through us. I want to shout out to Aaron Wellman and his wife, Taylor, and their children, Jack and Sadie. Sadie, who celebrated a birthday, her 12th. I think it was on Thursday. So happy birthday, Sadie. And to our family, our radio family, Larry Zapp, Toby Terrell, Wade Taylor, and his mother and brother, and our family.
Hey, Felix?
Yes.
Something that I was just thinking, with the lack of sports today,
Yeah.
we may have a lot of people tuning in,
Yeah.
right, that haven't really watched horse racing.
That's correct.
And so perhaps you could lay out some of the terms that they might be hearing these announcers talking about, that if they're unfamiliar with horse racing, it's like if I had never watched football and they're talking about first downs and, goal line stands and all this, and I'm like, what the hell's all that about? So what are some of the things that we might be hearing if we've never watched horse racing that you could help us clarify?
Well, we hope that we hear. And Independence Hall is opening up on this field, and he's going to win by 10. The Florida Derby winner is the son of Constitution. His grandfather won. That would be one good thing that that you would want to be listening for. The second thing would be this. Everything is based on $2 increments. So the odds of a horse at 10-1, when you see the listing of the odds and the horses and so forth, you'll see a horse 5-1. So if he wins that race, everything's based on a $2 increment. So if that horse wins, you get 2 times 5 plus 2, it would be $12. And then you can play exactas horses that run first and second. But I think some of the eye-opening things that they're going to hear is furlongs. It's at 6 furlongs. A furlong is 1/8 of a mile. So every furlong is 1/8 of a mile. So in order to run a mile, how many furlongs would a horse have to run?
Yeah, I would guess 8.
8. You're exactly right. See, there, you're the first. You're the first winner. Tommy D, what would be some terms that that's a good point, because somebody said that to me last night. Said, well, I guess the only thing we got is horse racing tomorrow, and it's true. I mean, and this was a big blow to Santa Anita closing, because we thought we would be able to get through, but you kind of flexed your muscles on that, but you knew that somewhere in the back of your mind, it was only a matter of time until they closed the tracks and a couple jockeys tested positive. Not here in Southern California. Javier Castellano did back in New York, and it doesn't make a difference. But what does make a difference is that there's a lot of people that are going to come and watch one of the only sporting events that's being run right now. I mean, you would think, Tommy, like how ironic would it be that we're the last sport standing? When you think about all that thoroughbred horse racing has been through, especially, the turbulence that we had during last year at Santa Anita, and just the hits that the sport has taken. It's kind of ironic, Tommy D, that we're the last sport standing.
It's actually pretty wild to think about, Felix, that, we are the last sport going out there, and it has to do a lot with, it's the sport that's just hard to just shut down because the horses need to be fed, they need to be taken care of, they need to be walked, they need to get their exercise. A lot of working factors, and their thoughts are a lot of the people on the backside, are isolated to their areas. But, as we're seeing, Belmont have to shut down. They have a couple cases there. Javier Castellano, one of the top jockeys, coming down with it. So it is a concern of the sport. But, on the big picture, this is their time and their moment where they could actually maybe get a little bit more people. Like I said, NBC Sports today, people will be tuning in and watching. And what I would watch for is, if you're looking to play, you could even go on TVG. They give you a credit. You could put some small dollars in there if you're interested in taking a shot today. Pick a horse and go for it. Just paying attention to the stats and the commentators and looking at the horse. There's no right or wrong as a new beginner, because I've seen some new beginners and players. You could teach them as much as possible. You teach them everything, but the person next to you that didn't learn anything won everything. So, it's all about going and enjoying, having fun, and really appreciating the animals. At this moment, and thinking about Independence Hall today, this could be an advantage for this horse because there won't be many people around. It's kind of a colt that likes to that's a little jacked up at times. So maybe with not as many people there, that could be an advantage. They're just out there for a morning workout, it feels like, with less horses on the track.
Yeah, you're right. And it took 3 horses. I mean, it took 3 people to contain this horse in the saddling ring back in New York prior to the Jerome or the Nashua. But that's Franco Harris. He likes to strut his stuff, and he'll be able to strut his stuff without any people down there. That's interesting when you think about it, is that people that are tuned in are watching it on television, because once again, all the casinos are closed, all the OTBs are closed, the tracks are closed. So where people would drive their car to go to a casino or an OTB to bet this race, they're not able to do that. And so hunker down at home, where you will have the TV, you will have your iPad, and you will have your ability to bet through TVG or whatever platform that you use, and you will be able to bet this race. And so that's the only way. That's the only way. And I would think that that's the reason why they reduced the $1 million purse to the $750,000 purse, right, Tommy?
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you why they reduced it, but you might have just answered it right there for me. But yeah, I think it would be a funny video if you could get a bunch of people here to watch the Florida Derby and video themselves, new people, old people, whatever, and have them video themselves while watching it, and then put it into a nice little collection of showing the excitement that the sport could bring, from the most ups to the downs. Because when you're first time watching horse racing, it's so exciting. When you're on track, even better. But if you can't beat there, it's still exciting when you're watching on TV and your horse is winning. And it could be winning the whole way and then loses at the end, or it comes from behind. It's just such an exciting sport that a lot of people, I don't really think, get a lot of eyes on. So maybe a little bit more exposure here could be for the good or bad. I know getting some complaints that it is still going on, but it's, like I said, one of those things. It's hard to just shut down. Right. A lot of businesses you could shut down, but if you shut down that, then everything is going to be out of whack. And I think they're trying to figure that out right now up at Belmont and other tracks all over. I know Todd Pletcher's shutting down, but a concern we have. But we do have racing today. That's what we got to be thankful for. And what a big day and a carryover. So you have the opportunity to make a 20-cent bet and capitalize. They're saying this pool could get up to somewhere around $10 million. Who knows, Felix?
You always got a chance, my friend, like a chip in a chair. A couple races, Tommy D. I know you zeroed in at Gulfstream Park. Which race would you say is the most comfortable for you to talk about right now?
Well, I mean, they're all pretty nice. I mean, you're looking at, I could go
Give me
through real
one of
quick,
them.
race 9. Yeah, so race 10 is the Orchard. This is a grade 3 going a mile and 3/8 on the turf. Meet Mary is a horse I really like, won 2 in a row.
Number, Tommy?
That's going to be the 6th horse at 3-1. Grand Motion and Luis Saez, 43% together as a jockey trainer combo. It is the favorite here, but I love Mean Mary. Number 5, General Ruler, would be the other one in this race that I'd be worried about. This 5-year-old mare, Ian Wilkes, our buddy, is training this one. 6 out of his 7 starts in 2019. So this is the first off the bench here at 7-2. Those are the 2 horses I'm looking to put in my
okay,
pick
slow
6,
down a little
6
bit
and the
here.
5.
Slow down here. Let me go ahead and cue it up here. Okay, so you have Mean Mary. This is race number 10 from Gulfstream Park. And then who was the other one that you mentioned, Tommy D?
Gentle Ruler would be the other one I'd be a little concerned about. And if I had to give you one more, if you wanted to throw one
Give me
more
the
deeper,
numbers.
12.
Give me the numbers, if
6,
you would.
6 and 5 are my top 2, and then the 12 would be the other one I'd add in, Elizabeth Way.
Right.
Won its first 2 American starts. Frankel is the daddy of that one.
Well, you know, we love Grand Motion on this radio program. I always mention that every time we've reached out to Grand Motion, the trainer of Animal Kingdom who won the Kentucky Derby, and just a great all-around guy. Mean Mary, well, we're going to have to use that. So let's go to the Mean Mary, and you used the 6, the 5, and the 12 in race number 10. Now let's go to race number 11, Tommy D. Let's take a look at this race. This is the Fasig-Tipton Gulfstream Park Oak Fillies. This is a very, very nice race here. Big fields going here. What do you think in race number 11?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at a couple of horses when I first took it, and, you know, I kept on looking back at 9. I know he's the favorite at 5-2, but there's a lot of respect for this horse, tonalist shape. 5 for 5. This horse is a monster, winning every race. This filly here by a length plus. 4 for 4 at Gulfstream Park. 5-2 morning line. So I think it's going to be very tough to beat the 9. I think there's a possibility to try to sneak by with a single on smaller tickets. But I do like number 4, Lake Avenue. You got Mott here. This horse won the Demsall grade 2 races back. You know, I think this horse has a very nice chance to show up here at 9-2. And then I guess at a price $4,000, his son also eligible, so I don't think he got in. So let's not even talk about that one. Luscria, the 7 horse. This horse won 2 in a row, won 3 out of 5 starts. Delacour, great trainer, 8-1. That'd be my price here. That's the 7 horse. So 4, 9, and 7, and 5 Spice is nice for Pletcher. Would be one on deeper tickets you got to put in there.
While you were talking about Lake Avenue, Tommy D, you know, he finished 4th last time out. The 2 priors, 1 by 4 and 1 by 12.5. Wow, that is pretty impressive. No matter where, and these are fillies. So you talk about some nice fillies in race number 11. I chuckled when you said, I'm going to use a couple here. I was thinking, well, maybe you want to use a couple more because I think these races are so strong and they come up so enriched and, you know, and have a lot of depth that I think you're going to have to spread 3, 4, 5 horses. Let's go to the 12th race.
Hey, Felix.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. We've got Toby and Zap on.
Oh, good.
So let's we've got 10 minutes. So let's jump to them and let me dump Tommy. Tommy, great job. But I need to
Not
clear a
dump
phone
Tommy.
line.
Hold on. We got to say goodbye, Tommy. I can't just dump my man TD. But Tommy, give me your winner in race number 12.
Race number 12, I'll be single in number 9, Zulu Alpha. I think it's a single here, 3-5. Channel Cat would be the only one I think could maybe pull the upset here. So number 9, Zulu Alpha, single, race 12, Felix.
Tommy, stay safe.
Good luck, everybody.
Stay safe. Give Luca a kiss from me and Erica as well. I'll be in touch. Tommy D, a great job. Stay safe, my brother, and we will talk with you. That's Tommy D. Let's go up to Larry Zapp. Zapper, what's going on, my man?
What's going on? I was practicing my social distancing at the market, and I got your phone call, Felix, and made it home without getting near anybody. And here we are. They just ran race 3 at Gulfstream Park, which continues, obviously, Florida Derby Day. They're continuing through their big day at least. And the big news everybody's talking about is Santa Anita being forced to close down right when the horses were basically headed to the paddock yesterday. Supposedly there was an aerial shot in the sky of a couple people a little too close together by Clocker's Corner, and they're trying to say that was enough to say enough's enough. So stay tuned. They're still trying to negotiate to get back in business.
Yeah, and very unfortunate. Toby Terrell joining us here, a bonus coverage of two guys that are pretty good at social distancing. That's Zapper and Toby T. Double T, Toby Terrell. What's up, Toby?
Hey, Felix. Well, unfortunately, all the things that we need to be up are kind of down right now. However, you never change your outlook and mentality. It's always one day at a time. And there is a big day in progress at Gulfstream Park right now. You got a very exciting edition of the Gulfstream Oaks and the Gulfstream Derby. I think both races are going to be exciting to watch. There's a lot on the line. Our good buddy, Little Nick Casado of Slam Dunk Racing fame, he's got his undefeated tonalist shape running in the Oaks. Going to have to hold off the mighty Todd Pletcher. Spice is nice, I think, is going to be finishing like a gorilla in the Oaks there at Gulfstream. And in the Gulfstream Derby, quite a race here. My old pal Patrick B. and Cone. Who would have ever known that Patrick would venture to the other coast and just go on a tear? And what a tear it's been for him. He has Ete Indian taking on the big horse, Tis the Law. That'll be quite a matchup. And, of course, the rooting section of this entire show and audience, of course, Felix, you know who we'll be rooting for in the Gulfstream Derby.
Absolutely. That's Franco. That's our boy Franco Harris, Independence Hall, number 9. All you got to do is just keep on punching 9s, okay? 9 will get the wine. 9 will get the wine, okay? And Zapper, how do you see this race? How do you see it?
Well, I see it as a very important race because we don't know when the next race. I guess Oakland's going to try to run a couple of prep races, the Arkansas Derby and their Fantasy beginning of May. They pushed that one back, but for today, this is where all eyes will be watching, and I think Toby covered it beautifully. I mean, there's 3 constitutions in the race. The one not mentioned is Governor Morris for Todd Pletcher. Tis the Law is the one everybody is talking about. I mean, he beats Erte Indian pretty impressively, and then Erte Indian comes back and wins the Fountain of Youth by 8.5. So obviously it's a rematch there. When you throw in Independence Hall, who I thought got caught in we'll call it a sort of blind switch. There was a lot of speed in the middle of that race at Tampa Bay to Sam Davis, and I thought he did really well to hold everybody else off but Sol Volante, who was the deep closer that day. I just think this is going to be a real tactical race. I think the contenders all have speed, and I mean, if somebody's going to kick it in late, Felix, and be able to close on these horses, I don't see it. So I think it's going to be the 3 Constitutions and Erte Indian, and I just think whoever gets the best trip is going to move to near the top of the class because Bob Baffert has 3 aces, 3 undefeated horses that we all know about, Charlatan, Nadal, and Authentic. So really exciting class of 3-year-olds, and today's going to stamp somebody as the leading contender out of South Florida. So we're just going to root for Independence Hall and hope he gets the proper trip today. Tis the Law, definitely the horse to beat.
All right, I agree with that. And, the road to the Kentucky Derby will now, the first Saturday of May, will now be the Arkansas Derby. But the road is extended. It's gotten a little longer, and it's brought to you by Eclipse Thoroughbred Partners. And they have Independence Hall in this race today. And all the hard work, the audibles that were called. You heard me talk about after he's won down or back at Parks and broke his maiden, they shipped a Laurel. They had a problem there where the pipe burst. And then, he loses a shoe. He his tongue tie, had tongue tie problems, carrying 4 more pounds. I mean, you ask a lot for this young horse, and then he ran. And I keep on telling everybody who watches his race, I said, if you go back and watch from coming off the stretch, the far turn, or going into the far turn, his head drops and he runs for like a half a mile with his head down. And I mean, you got to be fit. So he comes out of that race not knowing he lost a shoe, and they breezed him, gave him some exercise back there at Tampa Bay, and then they shipped him to, not shipped. We don't ship anybody. We vanned him, I think, down to Gulfstream Park, and he had a tremendous work there. And it just shows you that losing the shoe didn't hurt him at all, and that's the good thing all about it. So it's going to be really exciting. Any other races you like, Zapper? I know Tommy D was talking about that. There's a man. It's really unfortunate because where do you go after I get off the air? Usually I'd go to OTB, go to, Ocean's 11, have breakfast, have some coffee, watch some races. Everything's closed right now. So I don't know how long it would take me to get up to the compound of Toby Terrell and yours. But I got a lot of good booze in the back of my trunk. I got some good whiskey, some great wines, and some tequila. So it'd only take me an hour. I mean, but can we bet there, Toby? Can we, do we have windows open at your place?
Of course. So whiskey for my men and beer for my horses, or the other way around. And the gals I watched some of the news earlier, and it's amazing, Felix. Whoever it was on the local news here did an outstanding job of outlining everything that we can't do. And it's phenomenal. I mean, when he went over this list of everything that you can't do, he keeps on going, and he ends out kind of close to where you were taking us, because he said, now what are all the gals going to do when they can't go out for their mimosas at brunch?
And that's exactly what I feel. I mean, like, the girls can't wear the girls can't wear their dresses today at South Florida. They live for the Florida Derby. The Florida Derby's like opening day at Del Mar back there. Okay, everybody comes out. It's start of spring. Everybody's getting really, really good. They want to be social, and they can't have that. And we got to make changes, and there's changes. All the OTBs are closed, the casinos are closed. All the Indian casinos here in San Diego are closed. All the private licensees of the different card rooms and casinos, Sammy's is closed. And now the tracks are closed, and so, well, what do? You have to watch it from TV, but that's a small price. If we could save lives, that's just a very small price. And maybe it's for all of us the time to kneel down and just think, how blessed we've been, and how so suddenly it could be taken away. Because 2 weeks ago, everything was great. The stock market was up, unemployment was down, and everybody was feeling, the March Madness. Feeling the excitement of March Madness that was stripped from us, the NBA, golf. It goes on and on. But what we still have, the common denominator, is trust and hope. And we just got to be able to utilize this time to be better people and make better friends. And with that being said, do you guys have any other winners down there at Gulfstream Park? My man Wade needs to make a bet here, okay? Because he's going to take a shot today at Gulfstream Park. Do you have any one race at Gulfstream Park, Zapper? Real quick, tell me the race.
Get down soon, because it's about 5 minutes to race number 4, and this starts numerous amount of stake races. This is a nice 3-year-old colt race, the Cutler Bay. It's a mile for 3-year-olds on the turf, and I like a horse that's been getting rough trip after rough trip, and that's the 9-horse South Bend. He's 8-1 currently. He is 4 on the morning line, but he's 8-1. He's been getting a case of the wides, and I really think there's enough speed in this race to project him with a better trip. And if Julien Leperoux can negotiate a better trip for this horse that he knows really well, because he's been his only jockey, I think we're getting value here. So number 9, South Bend, in the upcoming race number 4, I think is a bet. And a horse that we gave out over a year ago, Felix, Harvey Wallbanger, returned with a big win, allowance win back in February. And I'm talking race number 6 today, the House Hope. He's the rail horse, number 1. And he's a nice 4-1 in the morning line. I think you can get juicy with both these horses. South Bend in race number 4, number 9, and number 1, Harvey Wallbanger in race number 6, the House Hope. And what really looks like a very enticing gambling card at Gulfstream Park today.
Without any question, my brother, it is. And Toby Terrell, you got one winner at Gulfstream Park for us?
Yeah, actually, Felix, you just got to get the old pen out and make sure that you record this accurately, because it's in the Oaks. Spice is Nice, I believe, is going to win the race. Tonalist Shape will be in there valiantly fighting, but the sleeper in the race is the number 6 horse, Swiss Sky Diver. And that horse is training up a storm back there. The boys love him. He's 10-1. So what you have to do is figure out, I'm going to be boxing these 3 in the trifecta just to kick things off. 5, 6, and 9. From there, I'll probably play some exactas trying to get the 10-1 shot in there. I might even get brave, try to get her to cause a shocker, Swiss Skydiver. But that's the race, Felix. 5, 6, and 9 in race 11.
Race 11, guys. You stay safe. Zapper, love you. Toby Terrell, you could ditto that a million times over. Wade Taylor, that's 2 million, 3 million. Gabby Sanchez, Gabriela, that's 10 trillion. Tommy D, 20 trillion. That's how much we love everyone that's been a part of this radio program. Good luck to Eclipse Thoroughbred partners, Bob and Kathleen Verratti, Twin Creeks, as they campaign their big 3-year-old homeboy. Go get him, Franco. Bet number 9 in the Florida Derby, folks. We are all in with Independence Hall. Good luck to everyone. Thanks for joining us. This has been Track Talk. Where have you found us? Right here. WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. Thanks for tuning in. Adios, everyone.
Have you tried DRF Formulator PPs at DRF.com? Take your handicapping to the next level with premium features not found in DRF Classic PPs, including one-click access to complete race charts, full-screen video replays with both standard and head-on views, add your notes for a card, horse, or trip, and access from any device. View Timeform US pace figures, get customized printing options, and so much more. Try DRF Formulator PPs today at DRF.com/PPs.
Hi, this is Felix Taverna, and I'm here to share with you a great place to begin your day, and that is the Broken Yoke Cafe. 15 San Diego locations to serve you. Downtown, Mission Valley, Bonita, East Lake, San Diego State, Point Loma, Mira Mesa, Del Mar, La Costa, Escondido, Oceanside, San Marcos, and Rancho San Diego. Benedict's, omelets, French toast, crepes, pancakes and waffles, sandwiches, wraps, burgers, soups, and salads. Start your day at the Broken Yoke Cafe.